Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. I'm Gabriella. Today's video, I really want to do a redo for my correctional video because the other one was not too good. I had my son in the background, which not a lot of people really enjoyed. But anyways, this is what I wanted to do because I get so many DMs, I get so many questions about it. So we're gonna start from the agility test. Disclaimer, well, I cannot speak for every academy nor every state. I can only talk about the academy and the process that I went through in Gatesville, Texas. So if no one knows, I am a correctional officer. I have worked there for about a year and a half now. I started out at the Mountain View unit, which is the death row for women. It's a more maximum a unit, I guess you would say. Didn't really like the unit because coming in, it was really just fast paced and everything else. There's just a lot of things. Not all units are the best, but you know, it's a job. So I ended up quitting and I went to Hilltop, which is the sister unit. It's a little bit more of a relaxed unit, which I really like. That's currently where I'm at now. So just to kind of start, I'm not going to really talk about the paperwork you need to turn in. If you just go to your website, it'll give you everything. Talk to your HR, they'll give you everything that you need to know. The first thing you're gonna end up doing is the agility test, which they usually schedule on Fridays. That is not a day where you have to dress professional. That is not a day where you have to worry about hiding tattoos. It's just a workout day. First tip, do not wear white. Especially if you live in the state of Texas. Like I said, can't speak for every unit or state. Wearing sneakers, that's fine. But showing up with a white t-shirt and white sweats, you will be a walking target because that is what offenders here in Texas wear, all white. Ladies, you do not have to worry about putting your hair in a bun unless and that's obviously how you work out. You could put it in a ponytail. Like I said, this is not the job itself. This is just the agility test. So for us, it takes 75 points to pass. If you can't do a push-up, if you can't do a sit-up, that is fine, guys. I cannot do a push-up to save my life. I can go down. That's all I can do. They're not going to dock points. You'll just get a 0 or a 1 for effort, depending on how lenient your supervisors are. You get a minute to do a set of whatever. A lot of my points, just based off me, I get pretty much my points based off my squats and my sit-ups in themselves. But you're gonna have other things to do like ladders. You're gonna be carrying a 30-pound bag across the room. You're gonna be doing your quarter mile, which is not a really big deal. So you don't have to stress it. You don't have to run it if you don't want to. Just keep in mind of the time, because certain times are certain points. So you get a minute to do X amount of squats. You get a minute to do X amount of sit-ups, push-ups, stuff like that. For me, squats, I can usually get in between 65 to 80 squats in a minute. So, and each squat counts as a point, or each sit-up counts as a point. Now, if I happen to be on the low spectrum of my squats, like 65, yes, I need 10 more points in order to meet the 75 points. So I can get that in my sit-ups in itself. I don't want to go too much into the agility test because, guys, there's nothing to stress about. Like, if I can do the agility test literally the day after I had my daughter, literally, you can do it too. So that Friday, obviously, like I said, do not stress. Everybody is going to pass. And then Monday morning, you are going to actually meet up at the academy. And this is where you are going to officially be trained for, you're going to be officially a correctional officer. You will not get your uniforms until probably that midweek. It's a 5-week academy thing. You're gonna be doing a lot of sit downs in classrooms. You're gonna be doing a lot of scenarios. You're gonna be doing a lot of paperwork. You're gonna be taking tests. You're gonna be getting gassed. You're gonna be doing the fire range, stuff like that within 5 weeks. I will say definitely listen to everything that they do. That they tell you, because some of it could sound very dramatic. Guys, when I went into the academy the first time, I was listening to these stories and I was like, this is ridiculous. There is no way. But yes, guys, there are instances where you got a lot of crazy people out there. And let me fix this. So when you do show up that Monday morning, this is going to bother me so much. When you show up that Monday morning, okay, yes, this is where you want to really make sure you have your tattoos hidden. I mean, some units don't really make it a big deal, but for the academy, yes, you need to have your tattoos hidden. You ladies, you need your hair up in a bun. You cannot have strayaways, so you need to hairspray it back, gel it back, whatever you need to do, because they will give you a demerit for that. If you get a certain amount of demerits, you're out. Obviously, you cannot have a felony when you do this job. You cannot have anything on your record that will affect you from being a correctional officer, because this is a state job. It's usually like a 7 to 4 or 8 to 5, Monday through Friday for the academy class. Again, it's 5 weeks or 5.5 weeks, something like that. Gas day, I want to talk about. So keep in mind that you're gonna have like 2 breaks and a lunch, an hour lunch. So if you end up doing gas after your lunch break, I wanna say do not have a really heavy lunch meal or whatever. Do not drink a gallon of milk. You are going to throw up. If you have a weak stomach already and it's very sensitive, well, good luck to you, because you're probably just gonna throw up, because it's an awful thing. So if you do it after, really be aware of what you eat and what you drink and put into your body. If you do it before lunch break, which it didn't happen for us, but I do know some other classes have done it before, which is crazy, because you want to be able to go home after you get gas and take a shower. So we did it after our lunch break. So just the process. Number 1, do not hold your breath. That's the first thing they're going to tell you. Me, as a natural instinct, I did hold my breath, because that's just something that you do. It feels like you're suffocating, literally. If you're stressing about the agility test and you pass it, good job, but this is probably the worst of the whole academy, like getting gassed. But you have to go through it, because when you actually go to your unit and you have an offender that's not complying to orders, you are going to end up being in the situation, if you happen to be one of those lucky few, to go in and gas them. So yeah, you're gonna get gassed too. The way they did it with us is we interlocked arms. We had like 5 groups or 4 groups of like 6, and we were interlocked arms. Little did I know I was gonna get hit first. There was the first person, but he was like super tall and super big, so I don't even think the gas hit him. Next thing, do not run. If you run, hopefully your partners are gonna hold you back, because if you run and you let go and you still want to keep this job, you are going to end up doing it again by yourself, and it's best to just do it the one time and get it over with. So as they're gassing everybody and letting the gas hit everybody, yes, you're going to hear a lot of coughing, a lot of torture, and they're going to tell you to walk. So you're going to walk through the gas, and then eventually when you're out of the gas, they're going to tell you to, okay, you can unlock arms, do what you got to do. Do not judge the person next to you. If you've been in the military, this is probably something that's not new to you, and you're going to probably already know kind of how to handle it. Don't judge the person next to you, because it's going to look like they've been crying, like they're going to be having snot coming down their nose, and you will too. You're going to be coughing, you're going to be gagging, you're going to be spitting up, you're going to be feeling like you have to throw up, but nothing's coming up, depending on your stomach and how much you can take. So one of the guys who was in the military, who was in my class, he actually came over to help me, because he was good. Literally right when he came out of the gas, he was good. So he came over and he helped me out, and he told me, like, stand up straight, keep your arms over your head, face the wind. If there happens to be any wind exposure, face the wind, get those eyes open. And, obviously if you have to throw up, yeah, okay, go ahead, bend over, do your thing. But it's best to just, stand up straight and put your hands above your head and yada, 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 yada. Now they're gonna really like, I don't know how you would say the word. It's coming to me, but I'm losing it. So when you end up going home after that gas day, when you take a shower, they're gonna really iterate, do not use hot water, because what is going to happen is you are going to actually I can't think right now. What is going to happen is you're going to end up basically being regassed again, if that makes sense. It's going to be like having shampoo in your eyes. Me personally, I think it has to do with the sensitivity of your skin, because I did use hot water, but I kept it more so on the warm, hot side, and nothing happened to me. But going in that next day to work, like, there were some people who were like, yeah, definitely don't use hot water, it burned me again, yada, 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 yada. I really think you have to take into account of how sensitive your skin is. Then you're gonna have the gun range. You're gonna spend one whole day pretty much practicing with dummy guns on how to load and how to reload the way they want you to. If you're in the military and you're used to doing it one way, well, good luck to you. They're gonna change it up on you and you're gonna have to get used to the way they really want you to do it. So you're gonna spend a whole day practicing with dummy guns, and then that next day, or depending maybe how they do it, you might have the end of that day to go on the fire range and practice with the pistol, the shotgun, and the AR-15. Just make sure you shoot your target. Don't shoot anyone else's, because then you're giving them points and you're not getting any points. After that, pretty much you're gonna have just a lot of scenarios. At this point, guys, after like the first week of being there, you're gonna have your uniform. You're gonna be wearing your class A's, which is the long sleeves and the pants and the boots and whatever. So you really want to make sure you look presentable. When you get to your unit, guys, they're gonna be really more like everything they teach you in the unit or in the academy. Like the unit is more laxed because they care. Just don't go to work looking like you literally like slept in your clothes. Make sure you do have them ironed, stuff like that. Then, the scenarios, you get tested on those as well. Just, guys, this is the kind of job where you really have to not be shy. You have to really be vocal. You have to really be stern in what you're talking about, because what these offenders are going to do, they are going to run all over you when you first get there. They want to know how much you know. They want to know how much they can get away with. The answer is always no, okay? Because you can change that no to a yes. If you say yes, well, good luck to you. If you try to change that to a no, now you look like you don't know what you're talking about. So really ask a lot of questions. So after those 5 weeks, you're going to graduate on that last day, which is normally a Friday, depends on your academy again. And then that following, okay, well, let me say it like this. If you guys happen to make a lot of friends in your academy class, you happen to like someone, you happen to be a good friend to someone, make sure you get their phone number, their Facebook, their name, something. Because not everybody that is in the academy is going to the same unit as you. So you might not ever see them again. You have people traveling from like different areas, different cities, so you might not even see them ever again, unless you happen to get their number or something like that. So then that following Monday after graduation, you are actually going to be at the unit. You are going to be on H card, so you're not going to be on actual shift. Now with these units, I don't know how it works for 12-hour units, but I always worked at a 8-hour and 45-minute unit, and it's 8 to 5 usually, or however they want it. And you still get that 8 to 5 Monday through Friday, and that's going to be for about a month and a half. You will be reporting to your FTO, which is going to be the person who is in charge of you. They're going to be the ones who knows the guidelines, the regulation, the rules, the laws to being in TDCJ or whatever criminal justice unit you will be working at. So your FTO is going to be the person who is going to be assigning you to, different buildings. If you're going to be working a picket, which is the people who are literally in a picket and just looks down at the whole unit, and they're the ones who are majority of the ones with the guns and stuff. You might end up in transportation. You might be in a dorm with another officer, and they're going to be the seasoned officers. That means they've been there for a while and that they can take on mentoring someone as well as telling you about the job. So make sure you get your questions in then too. Also make sure whatever you ask them, ask your FTO, because not all the time is that officer going to know the right way either, because they might just be doing it as a shortcut. But when you get on shift yourself and you do it the way this officer told you to do it, it might be wrong. So if you have a supervisor coming in, you're going to get in trouble for it, not the other officer, because you should have known better. So make sure any questions you have, because at the end of the day, you will be meeting up with your FTO again, ask them those questions. So the 8-hour units, you'll be working 6 days straight and 3 days off once you become on shift. You got first, second, and third shift. Typically, you are not going to get first shift, which is 5:45 in the morning. You have to be in shift turnout, and then you'll be getting off somewhere between 1:45 and 2:30. Well, 2 o'clock to 2:30, I should say. And then with the 12-hour units, it's, I think, 5 to 5 is only 2 shifts. I don't really know. Like I said, never worked a 12-hour shift like that other than like overtime. I can't really speak for the 12-hour units. I can only speak for the 8-hour units. But when you guys do get on shift, you will be considered a new boot. Majority of the time, what's going to happen is when you get on shift, they're going to put you in a dorm, because that is where you're going to learn your offender management. That's where you're going to learn who your offenders are, how they act, why they act like that, stuff like that. Again, you guys want to come in stern. You don't want to go in shy, being a yes man, yes guy, and then you want to come off hard. Guys, that's what happened to me when I worked at Mountain View. I just let them do whatever. I worked night shifts at that. So working at Mountain View, I didn't know a whole lot because like I said, it's such a fast pace. It's such a more maximum security than where I work now. Whereas I have time to really learn what I'm doing. So when I went to Hilltop, I actually asked questions. I didn't know, when I was in Mountain View, I didn't know what the restriction roster was. Restriction roster is where you're gonna have your offenders when they get in trouble and a case goes through and they have their little court with the lieutenant or higher. What's gonna happen is like they're gonna be put on restriction, whether they are going to be on property restriction, which means they don't get none of their stuff for like however long it's going to be. They're going to be on cell restriction, which means they shouldn't be out of their bunk unless told to. And now that I'm at this Hilltop unit, I really am strict about that. So when you go into your shift and you go in, your new boot, they ask you questions. Can I do this? Can I do that? The answer is no. If you need to ask a question, call like a seasoned officer, call your supervisor, call somebody, and they will give you the answer. And then you can change it to a yes if they're able to do that. Just make sure you make your rounds. Make sure you know whenever you relieve the officer before you, say you work third shift like I do, and you're coming in to relieve your second shift officer. Make sure you get all the information that you can. Because what's going to happen is if they don't give you the information, because majority of the time they just want to get out of there. They don't want to have to sit here and tell you what's going on, yada, yada, yada. But it's going to be good for you. That way you can keep an eye on those offenders that maybe had a little disagreement or something. Because if you don't know anything that happened, you're kind of stuck, you're screwed, and you don't know what's going on. So make sure you get whatever you can from that officer. If it was a good day and they really don't have anything for you, okay, cool and dandy. But don't just let them leave, because that's what a lot of them like to do. Like I said, make sure you when I first get there, I usually just sign my name in that I came in at this time. I go and I do a round. And I might even, turn back around and do that round again, going the opposite way. And then I come back at my desk and I fill out my paperwork, stuff like that. You guys don't treat them. They are also human. Yes, they are incarcerated, but if you want respect, you have to show that respect too. Come in. Yes, you can say, hey, how's everybody doing? Yada, 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 yada. And that's what I do when I come into my dorm or wherever I'm going to be, because it's going to be you versus like 80 offenders in a dorm. And you're going to know who your good dorms are. You're going to know who your bad dorms are, things like that. Me, when I first come into like somewhere new, I like to tell them, hey, look, I'm Officer Strange, guys. How's everybody doing? Because, if you're new and you're coming in, like literally 20 of them back to back are going to come up like, what's your name? What's your name? What's this? What's it? Just say it all out loud. Like, let them know. I have a few rules for you guys. If you follow it, we're going to have a good day. I like minimum noise. It looks good on you to have minimum noise. Okay, you guys can talk, but you can talk to the people next to you. There's no talking across the dorm. If you have to ask someone if you have to ask a question to someone who's across the dorm, come to me, acknowledge me first. That way I know I can keep an eye on them. That way they're not like trading and trafficking or anything like that. Also, I like, if they're on cell restrictions, especially, I'm very nitpicky when it comes to cell restriction. I really like to make sure that they're just not up and doing whatever, because some officers are okay with those who are on restriction to just come out whenever they want. I'm not into that, because that's not what they're supposed to be doing at all. If they have to go to the bathroom, they better make sure they go to the bathroom, they brush their teeth, they throw away whatever they need to do all in one. Because what they're going to do to you guys, and this is just an example because it does happen, if they're on cell restriction, they're going to find every way to get up every 5 minutes. And that's a no-go for me. You'll have some who just want to throw a string of freaking hair in the trash. That's ridiculous. And I'll let them know. Okay, you know what? Put it on the side of your bed, bunk, on the floor, something. Gather all the trash that you need. Get your toothbrush, because I like to spend 10-15 minutes in the bathroom just brushing their teeth, because they're just trying to talk to other people. Be aware of that, guys. I understand you got to have paperwork that you have to, finish up and constantly write, but do not BS it and just sit there at your chair and just let them do whatever. That is not good on you. Try to get, you got to really learn to know your offenders. There's not really much to the job. It's just show up. I do want to say, as I did in my last video that was not so good, I should say, yes, guys, if you stay coming to work, you're building a lot of time. You do overtime, that is time as well. Your first 3 or 4 hours of just overtime is going to go straight to time. And anytime it's over 3 or 4 hours or whatever it is, then you get an extra paycheck, which is usually between the 15th and the 25th or something like that of the following month that you did it. You get sick time, which never goes away. You can use it whenever. You get holiday time, comp time, and what's the other one? Holiday time, comp time, and vacation time. There we go. And you got all those times at the end of the month. You get, or actually in the beginning of the new month, you get your timesheet, and it'll show you how many hours you have of, you know, that you can use. Don't go and waste it, guys, because once you go and waste it, you end up falling off the books, which means you don't get your paycheck like everybody else does. That means you get yours like on the 15th. And so now you're like kind of struggling. Be really legit about this job, y'all. Don't BS it. Always keep a pen on you, and always keep one of those little itty bitty notebooks on you like officers hold or carry around, because you might end up writing cases if you happen to be working outside as a, what is it called? I can't even think of their freaking names. As a utility. Utility is those who go and do second counts on for you if you're in a dorm, and they go and they're the ones who direct how the building schedule works. So that's all I have, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope it was very informative. I wanted this video to be serious and not BS like my other one, because it was, like I said, it was super BS. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Let me know what you thought below. If you have any more questions, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram. I'd be more than happy to answer them. But I think I pretty much answered majority of everybody's questions that I've been getting. And so you guys have a really blessed day, and I hope to see you soon. Don't forget to subscribe.